Hello and welcome to another podcast for Supplierity News. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode. Today I have with me, as always, Ray Hayes. So Ray, thanks for
Jaymie?
joining me for another podcast. Uh, on today's talk, we're gonna be discussing millennials and the recent article that Ray wrote about, which is millennials and their perspective on entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Now, I'll start it off and then you can, definitely expand upon it, Ray. But when it
Okay,
comes to millennials, I feel like we have this, or people view us as, lazy. Excuse me. We
definitely.
want everything handed to us. And especially the way that the economy is right now, you don't see a lot of, and this is statistically proven, there aren't as many millennials starting new businesses as there were, 10, 20 years ago. And, again, that has to do with the economy, how banks lend out money now, just the different opportunities that are available that just weren't as plentiful, that aren't as plentiful today as they are, as they were 20 years ago. But regardless of all of that, your article spoke about millennials still being positive about entrepreneurship. So
Right.
yes, so with that, definitely take it away. Talk about some of the key points you discussed in that article and your own views, of course, about entrepreneurship.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jamie. But like you said, millennials, we definitely, because me and you are considered millennials as well, but we definitely get a bad rap. The fact that we're lazy, we can't focus, and we're always stuck to a computer, cell phone, or a laptop. Like we can't keep our eyes or keep our minds away from social media. We don't read books anymore. We get our news
Right,
from social media
right.
all the time. However, that being the case, yes, we are definitely influenced a lot by things on social media, and we taking full advantage of social media. But one thing people fail to realize is that millennials, according to statistics, we're the most educated. Due to the fact, because like you said, Jamie, we have tons of resources at our hands nowadays, and being being able to have knowledge about different subjects and being able to connect with different people across the world, that makes, I believe, makes millennials optimistic about the future when it comes to becoming entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yeah,
Because the fact of it is, they, what did you say?
no, that's a good point. But you keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of it is that they're not limited to seeing people just around their communities having businesses. You see someone from West Africa owning a shoe store, or someone from Germany. They may have their own business, or someone in California, and this person just a few hours away from you, they have their own business. But they're actually seeing these things, and they're seeing President Trump talk about making America great again and making America first, building up the small businesses in America. So, with that being said, they have that optimistic point of view because, hey, if our president wants to make our country great again and he's fully committed to helping small business owners and entrepreneurs, and he himself is was an entrepreneur who came up in the world. Granted, yes, he had a few funds from his father, but he came
More
up
than a few,
and
but
made.
keep going.
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? But he came up and he made something of himself. So if you see that, it changes your whole state of view. That changes your whole state of view. I mean, the fact of it is, you see yourself in that person's shoes, and it gives you the courage to say, the courage and motivation to do that thing, to do those things that you would like to do.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I
that's
will.
what the article talks about, the optimism. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. I will say. So, if you give me $1 million, I'm not going to say I'd be a billionaire, but I'm pretty sure I'd be a millionaire. If you give me $1 million to start to start a business, I'd probably be a millionaire. But no, but joking aside, well, serious joking aside, I guess. the one thing that you did mention that Trump has actually done a really good job about, whether you support him or not, is his whole "Make America Great" campaign really got people really thinking what makes America great, in particular when you're talking about businesses.
Right.
And what we're seeing is, in particular with a globalized economy now, because I mean it there is truth to, hey, what happens in Western Europe can affect America, and vice versa. So because of this globalized economy now, what we're seeing is that opportunities aren't just exclusively coming from America. So that's definitely changed, and I think that when it comes to millennials have a better understanding of that than, for example, the baby boomer generation, right? And we're seeing policy that, in my opinion, reflects that. How baby boomers more so want to bring back old jobs that may not be what the future needs. So, and like for
Right.
example, energy, right?
Right.
So I do think that millennials are a lot better situated and have a better understanding of, hey, the future opportunities aren't in past energy products, but they're in future energy products and alternative fuels and things like that. Just as an example. So because of that, I do think that because millennials can see that better, they have a more positive idea on, hey, the economy could move in a positive direction if policy will reflect that. And fortunately, right now, or what it seems like it's leaning towards, is it's kind of moving a little bit backwards, right? And I'm saying that
Mm-hmm.
as a millennial, and I'm pretty sure somebody who's 60 would probably say something different. But so I do think that plays a part into it in terms of our values and where we see future economy 20, 30 years from now versus what small businesses are doing right now. So I think that's one
Okay.
point to make that. And another point, and I started with globalization, I ended up with energy, but the second point would be more towards globalization and the fact that different countries, such as China, for example. I just actually wrote an article about how Jack Ma came to Detroit and gave the speech about how China's middle class is growing. It's about 300 million people right now, and they can't
Mm-hmm.
find enough product to sell that market. So because of that, you have huge opportunities for small businesses who are looking to make money that could possibly do it in China. And you have to remember, when America's middle class market boomed out between the 70s and 90s, because that's the 80s is really when our middle class really hit its stride. You had a ton of countries set up base in America to make money off of our growing market. I do feel like our middle class has plateaued, and I'm not going to say we're on the downward side, but we're pretty much. I mean, we've just plateaued versus like a China that's steadily growing, and I think it's going to be
Right.
huge opportunity for small businesses. So again, millennials, and again, we're not just talking about American millennials, but we're talking about a globalized millennial base here. In my opinion, I think there's
I
just going
agree.
to be a ton of opportunity, and it may not just be in America, but it may be in different regions that can bring back that whole idea of made in America. So
Yeah. Just look at Detroit, for example. I mean, the fact of it is, things are changing. Things are changing, whether it be for the good or bad. But majority in the U.S., a lot of different little small cities that were struggling early 2000s, 90s. They're making a big boost. I mean, like I said, Detroit. I mean, the poverty. I don't understand. Poverty is still
yeah,
an
Detroit.
all
Yeah,
time high still in Detroit. But
no, it's
I
not an
mean,
all time high. I mean, it's definitely bounced back, right? I mean, nothing will be from an all time high from our bankruptcy, right? Which happened like
oh,
five
true.
like
Well, yeah,
none
yeah.
is going to be worse than that. But yeah, there's definitely a bounce back, and we're seeing a lot more investment in Detroit than we've ever seen in the past since my lifetime, and I'm almost 30. So I mean, there's just been a huge, and we really appreciate it, right? The huge investment that companies are making in the city that just didn't make 20, 30, 10, 5 years ago. So because of that, it's definitely growing. And you're right, there's other cities just like that. Oakland, for
Yeah.
example, Google
Dallas,
just made a
Austin.
heavy, yep, yeah, Austin especially. Like we're really seeing a lot of cities getting these huge investments now, and I really like it. It seems as if corporations are now investing more in America than ever before. Well, not ever before. I mean, maybe like the 40s, they invested way more than they are now. But than they have been in the past, 20, 30 years. That's not to say that
Right.
they're not also investing in other countries as well, because I understand with the globalized economy, you have to invest in other countries nowadays. That's just how a modern billion-dollar business has to operate. But they're still heavily, or not still, but they're now investing more in America than they've done in the past 5, 10 years. Um, and I think that's really good. And that has less to do with politics than I think people realize. And I think that has more to do with business and what makes sense business wise than
Mhm.
than people really push. So
I definitely agree with you on that, Jay. Oh,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
you look at millennials out there. A lot of baby boomers they stayed in one place, and they made their money in that one particular location.
Right.
Millennials are traveling. They're
Yep.
steady traveling.
I
Well, I
agree.
mean, right now you have the big migration, the reverse migration, where you have a lot of millennials moving back to the south, but they see the expansion of the south when it comes to
Hey, so
opportunities in the job
quick
market, the
quick
tech
question.
field.
Yeah,
Go
quick
ahead.
question about that. I just thought about this question. Hey, how many of the people that you grew up with in Chicago stayed in Chicago and like didn't at one point move to another city and maybe moved back or like just moved around? Percentage wise, would you say?
In, Chi- in Chicago,
Yeah, the people that you grew up with. Like percentage wise, how many people
um,
just stayed in Chicago and never left, and how many people like moved somewhere else and then like moved around?
there's a high percentage of people I know who've who left Chicago. Now, I'm not saying the state of Illinois, but they left Chicago to go to the suburbs, and you have a few of them who've left the entire state of Illinois and moved down south or via to Iowa.
So my point is now with your parents, how many of their friends like moved around? Would you say it's a
Not that
higher
many.
yeah, would you say it's a higher percentage of your friends have moved around versus your parents' friends?
I think it's a bigger percentage of my friends moving around than my
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah, I would say that too. Now that I think about it, because I'm just thinking about, some of our conversations with my parents in the past, and they'd always ask, how's such and such doing? I'd be like, well, they're not in Detroit anymore. I don't really hang out with them anymore. How's such and such doing? Well, they're
Right.
not in Michigan anymore. I don't really hang out with them. And they'd always be surprised, like, really? Wow, that didn't really happen with me. So you're 100% right about people nowadays. People are just moving around a lot more. Um,
Yeah, and they're able to move around a lot more compared to
yeah, that's a
probably
good point.
compared to our parents. They have more of an opportunity. And with that being said, when it said millennials have more, I mean, are more educated than our parents, that plays a big part in that as well too. There's not a big fear in moving around because you understand that there's more out there than just your surrounding area that you're in now.
Yeah, I agree. Like that,
And that,
that's a really
and
good
you
point.
you get that all from gaining that education, whether it be academically or just honestly, you can gain that from street knowledge and also over online. And most importantly, online.
Yeah, the internet has changed everything. Like I
Yeah,
know that's
wall
obvious,
sites.
but the more and more you think about it, the more and more it's just like the internet really it made everything just more accessible.
Yeah, a lot more accessible. And I mean, you have people that talk about, okay, the internet is so much out there. I mean, the negatives about it, but the internet brought us into a whole new world, and it's
Yeah,
steady growing. Now you have artificial intelligence. I mean, you have a lot more being offered to us that our parents were not offered. So that's why we have more of that optimist point of view. That I mean, that that, okay, I can do this. Our parents may not have that because they didn't see it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, man.
Like I can see a friend from New York. I can see a guy that went to college from he's in New York now. The guy looks like he's having a ball. And it's like, man, I want to do that. And what's stopping me? What's stopping me from not doing what he's doing?
Yeah, I feel you like visiting him.
Now,
or maybe
like if you didn't see that, I mean, yeah, because if you didn't see that, then it's like if you
don't
say,
know.
Your mama
That's
dead.
a good point.
You don't know.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's
a
good point. Internet
and
photos.
As much as negative publicity President Trump gets, he has opened up a lot of doors for millennials.
How?
Just saying, because you look at it, this guy had no political experience. And a lot of millennials didn't pay attention to politics until he came into office.
That's true. That's very
true.
He
opened up a lot of he gets a lot of negative publicity, but when he leaves office, he's going to go down as a revolutionary president. Yeah, I mean, just for his negative things, but he opened up a lot of eyes.
He really did. That's I 100% agree with that. Now he definitely changed the political landscape forever.
I mean,
forever.
Definitely forever. I mean, President Obama did it as well, but he flipped it on his head.
Yeah, he pushed it even further out. Like Obama pushed it kind of out. Well, he pushed it out, and then Donald Trump just made it push it even further out. I know somebody who was like, I read this on a Facebook post. They were like, when Barack Obama became president, we thought anybody could be president. But now that Donald Trump is president, we really know anybody can become president.
Look at it. Have you seen The Rock?
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. That. Yeah, he said he's going to run for president in 2020.
I mean,
he got a shot.
Just like,
he got a shot.
Yeah, he got a shot.
Now everybody has a shot.
It's just like, who else is going to run?
I mean, everybody has a shot though now, which is crazy.
Mark Zuckerberg. What if Mark Zuckerberg teamed up with The Rock or Oprah Winfrey, and they say, okay, Zuckerberg, you can be the VP, and Oprah is the president.
I mean,
that's a hell of a shot.
She'd have a shot. I mean, there's a lot of
there's opportunities out there.
Donald Trump being president, it's no longer far fetched to think
nowhere near
anybody else can be president who doesn't have any experience.
Nope, everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. It's entertainment.
Yeah, politics is now entertainment. But
I'm not trying to put any negative light on President Trump, but he's going. I mean,
yeah, he showed millennials anything can happen, and that's why you got to be positive about entrepreneurship. Because if Donald Trump can be president,
anything can happen.
Your business you can get into business for yourself, and you can make some things happen.
And then you can put your kids. You become president. And then you can put your friends, your kids. Everybody can come in with you, and you can put, for lack of words, you can put them on as well.
Yeah, I think people already knew that you could put anybody you want on when you become president. But
yeah, but people weren't. I mean, they wasn't doing as much as he. I mean,
true. No,
he's really doing it though.
I get where you're going with that. Like, you might put a couple people here and there. He put everybody. He knew.
Yeah. Come on.
Everybody on.
Come on. Like LeBron James. Like look at LeBron James. I mean, I'm just talking about the examples the millennials have. But look at LeBron James. All his buddies from high school. Majority of his good friends from high school, he put on. He has Cliff Paul. He's a multi-millionaire with his own marketing firm, a PR firm, whatever, an agency.
You mean Rich Paul?
He brought Cliff Paul.
Cliff Paul.
He went to high school. I think he played ball with LeBron in Akron. But he put his guys into positions where they can succeed, even though they weren't in the NBA.
Yeah, like that's.
And we're getting a first-hand example of that. as millennials.
Yeah, we are. We are. I mean, this is, that's. I think that's why we're so positive. But sorry to kind of cut you off, but let's
No, you're fine.
yeah, I kind of have to wrap this
Go
up. Kind of a
go,
short
go
one
ahead.
for us, but yeah. Like this is like we said, this is what's making millennials positive about the future. Is amazingly what our leaders are doing today, in
Yeah,
some non-normal, I guess, ways.
that's
So
not that's a
not
non-traditional.
yeah,
Nowhere near
non-traditional.
traditional.
There it is. Yep, non-traditional ways. So for sure. Uh, but yeah, so once again, thanks for joining us for a podcast. Like, subscribe, comment on the video, and check us out at suppliernews.com. Thank you and have a great day.